Kanata or Stittsville, two of Ottawa's most popular suburbs on the west side of Ottawa for families, professionals, and for relocators. But here's the million-dollar question. Which one is the better move? Well, let me give you a little bit of a spoiler. One of these neighborhoods has an average detached home price over $1.15 million, while the other clocks in at around $850,000. That's a $300,000 difference, and it changes everything about the lifestyle, affordability, and the long-term potential. Stick around in this video because at the end of it all, you'll know exactly which suburb fits your relocation story. Thinking about moving to Ottawa but not sure which neighborhood is right for you? Well, that's exactly why I created my Versus series, where I compare Ottawa's most popular communities head-to-head. Westboro versus the Glebe, Kanata versus Stittsville, Barrhaven versus Orleans, you get the idea. We'll cover lifestyle, schools, housing prices, and so on, and what it really feels like to live there. Kind of hard to do if all you're doing is looking at MLS photos. So if you're a relocating client, these videos are a shortcut to figuring out where it feels most at home. So if you're planning a move to Ottawa, make sure to watch the full series, and when you're ready to take the next step, reach out. I'll send you my free Ottawa relocation guide to help you find the perfect fit for you and your family. So let's get back to the video. Kanata was one of Canada's first planned communities designed in the 1960s to merge suburban living with technology and business. It's now Ottawa's tech hub, and it's home to more than 500 organizations in Kanata North. From a lifestyle perspective, Kanata feels like a self-contained mini city. It's got massive shopping areas like Kanata Centrum and of course the Tanger Outlet Shopping. Plus on top of that, we all know it for the Canadian Tire Centre, which is home to the Ottawa Senators. And from a housing market perspective, Kanata's detached benchmark price, like I said off the top, is $1.15 million, which is a whole other snack bracket for a lot of people, and it also makes it one of the priciest suburbs in all of Ottawa. But that higher cost often comes with shorter commutes to tech jobs, larger homes, and strong resale value. And from a pros and cons perspective, on the pro side, it's unmatched for employment opportunities and amenities. And on the con side, I gotta say it's traffic, especially during rush hour, and it can make even the short trips pretty frustrating. From a landmark perspective, again, everybody recognizes Kanata for the Canadian Tire Centre, though with talk with the Sens moving downtown potentially, investors are watching this pretty closely. And I'll put a link to a video here with LeBreton Flats, again, as this might shift to the downtown core. And from a restaurant perspective, I have to say Amuse Kitchen and Wine, upscale dining right in the suburbs. From a school perspective, I'm going to highlight the Earl of March, consistently one of Ottawa's top public schools. Now, just last month, we worked with a family relocating from Waterloo, both parents in tech. They loved Kanata and they loved what it offered from a jobs perspective, and they liked the biking distance, it had good schools, and the suburban homes with finished basements for under what they'd paid in Kitchener and Waterloo. And for them, Kanata checked every box. Congratulations, check, check, check. Stittsville, on the other hand, started as a railway town back in the 1850s and is known for its small town charm. And over the last 20 years, it's transformed into one of Ottawa's fastest growing family hubs. And from a lifestyle perspective, it's definitely quieter, more community oriented than Kanata. And you'll find family-friendly parks, the Trans-Canada Trail, and a real village feel in Old Stittsville. And from a pricing perspective, the detached benchmark price in Stittsville is $850,000. That's a $300,000 savings versus Kanata, and that's huge for buyers that are relocating from expensive cities like Toronto or Vancouver who are looking for affordability with space. And from a pros and cons perspective, you've got bigger lots, quieter streets, and strong community vibe. And from a cons perspective, I'd probably have to say there's a longer commute to downtown with fewer transit options. Now, from a landmark perspective, I'd have to say Village Square Park. That's at least how I identify Stittsville. This is a community hub for festivals and markets. And my favorite restaurant in Stittsville, I have to say Cabatos, which is a 160-year-old heritage home serving authentic Italian cuisine. Now, how good is that? For anybody relocating to Stittsville from a school perspective, consider Sacred Heart High School, which has a strong reputation for both academics as well as for athletics. Now, from a customer success story perspective, we worked with a couple from Toronto probably a couple of months ago now who looked at Kanata, and at the time it was just a little bit too busy for them. But once they stepped into a quieter crescent of Stittsville, where the kids could play hockey outside on the street, they knew instantly that that was home. Now, if you're relocating to Ottawa, obviously schools is a big part of it. And if you're relocating with kids, both areas will shine, but in different ways. From a Kanata perspective, we've got a larger variety of schools, including French immersion. And from an academic perspective, a lot of the extracurriculars are tied to STEM and to sports. And from a Stittsville perspective, I'd say that there's a smaller network of schools, but newer facilities and a tighter knit community where parents all know each other. Families rave about the safe village feel in Stittsville. And keep in mind, we've got a list of all the schools and we can rank them for you in terms of how it's been publicly ranked on the internet itself. So I'd be happy to send that out to you as well. And for those that are not familiar with Ottawa, we have to talk about the commute to the downtown core, obviously. So from a Kanata perspective, Kanata is about 25 to 30 minutes to the downtown core. That's outside of rush hour. And eventually the LRT extension, which is stage 3, will reach Kanata. And from a Stittsville perspective, you've got to add about a 10 or 15 minute commute to that specific drive. And transit itself is a little bit weaker. So you've got to consider the park and rides as your main option. When you're considering relocation, we have to consider future development and, of course, the investment potential for both cities. So let's think long term. From a Kanata perspective, with the continued tech jobs and the tech growth, demand will always stay pretty strong, in my opinion. And when the arena actually relocates downtown, redevelopment around the current Canadian Tire Centre could reshape that specific area. So think of things like condos and retail and mixed-use communities. So on one hand, we're losing hockey. On the other hand, we're going to gain some infrastructure. And in Stittsville, there's new builds everywhere, explosive growth in subdivisions like Fernbank Crossing and Shea Village. We have a list of builders that have multiple choices for detached homes, for townhouses, and for condos. It's one of the fastest appreciating suburbs in all of Ottawa, and buyers are still flocking despite the rising prices. So, Kanata or Stittsville, which one fits your relocation story? They're obviously both fantastic choices, but for Kanata is your best bet if you're looking for job opportunities, shopping, and schools at your doorstep. And Stittsville is the perfect choice if you're looking for family-oriented, small-town feel with more space and better affordability. The truth is, of course, they're both really good options. They've both seen huge growth in recent years, and it really depends on your lifestyle, your budget, and of course, your family priorities. In my opinion, if I'm forced to choose, I choose Stittsville. For me, I'm a little bit older. I like my quiet spaces. I like the extra space. I like all of that. And I also like the extra $300,000 in my bank account. So that's for me. That's for my choice. Everybody is different. Let's debate that in the comments section below. And if you are relocating to Ottawa, let's chat. I can walk you through all the numbers. We can go through your goals and your objectives. Let's determine if the west side of town is where you and your family want to be. Of course, we have a list of all the homes. We got a list of all the new builds. We can really help you put a strategy in place if that's truly, in fact, what you want to do. So I'm going to wrap up the video here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you got a little bit of value from it. If you did, leave me a like. I would really appreciate it, or subscribe if you want more information like this in future videos. So again, I look forward to putting these videos together. Stay smart, stay invested. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. Now, whether you're planning a move or you're looking for the right investment here in Ottawa, I'm here to help you make a smart, confident real estate decision. And I work by referral, so my business depends on how well I serve you. And think about it, if you're not thrilled with the experience, you simply wouldn't recommend me. And that's why I go above and beyond to deliver the results that exceed expectations. So if that sounds like the kind of relationship you're looking for, give me a call. You've got my contact details. Let's schedule a quick call. No pressure, no obligations whatsoever. Let's talk about your next chapter, and I hope I can help, and we'll see you on the next one.